So, you opened this video because you're a yearner too, huh? Glad you're here. So what happens when you're an overthinking hopeless romantic who crashes out because you yearn too much? So there seems to be a weird shift now on the idea the essence of yearning is no longer accepted. It's more of frowned upon, it's strangely becoming a counter cultural thing. And my friends would always know I'm one of the biggest yearners to ever exist in this world. But they also see me as the biggest loser when I yearn. When I was in college, the term simping was more of a thing rather than yearning. And with the rise of TikTok and the songs that make you yearn, yearning is the new term. And Maha, a Substack user, would tell us that we call it simping or cringe, and suddenly the gestures that make connection possible are treated as shameful. She further preempts in her blog, The Intelligence of Desire, says there that there is a deeper thread of understanding that love is seen as invention, desire as a blueprint, and yearning as the very engine of such creation. And I get that, to the deepest level of my existence. I don't even know which levels exist within my core, but I'm pretty sure they go deepest. So generally, what happens when you are an overthinking hopeless romantic who crashes out because you yearn so much? First thing, you romanticize before you even arrive. The first thing that happens is that you fall in love with the idea faster than the reality can keep up. Overthinking turns every interaction into a cinematic universe. A pause becomes significant. A joke becomes, intimacy. A shared song becomes destiny. Before you know it, you're already grieving something that technically never even existed. Yearning in excess is a time traveler. It drags the future into the present and demands emotional payment in advance. You feel joy, loss, anticipation, and heartbreak all at once, often even alone, but who cares anyway, right? Number 2, you mistake depth for mutuality. As an overthinker, depth feels like proof. If you're thinking about someone this hard, feeling this intensely, surely it must mean something real, right? Wrong, I guess. But the truth is that yearning is not always reciprocal. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's just loud noise inside your head. The crash out happens when you realize that the emotional thesis you've been defending is written as solo, But as C.S. Lewis would post it, love does not rest on reciprocity. Third, you become fluent in unsaid things. Hopeless romantics are excellent readers of subtext. Too excellent. You start listening to not to what people say, but to what they might mean. Silence becomes language, distance becomes a test, ambiguity becomes hope. Maybe that's where all the hope even goes in the grand scheme of hopeless romantics. But overthinking doesn't just analyze, it archives. You keep receipts of moments, tones, timestamps. You can reconstruct entire conversations from memory, even when the other person had already moved on to their next notification. You send screenshots to your friends, praying to God that it means something. Every punctuation means something. You crave for meaning in a meaningless text. You secretly want to nurture a platonic outlook and hopefully, turn it into something romantic. And when all of this happens, you completely embody Franz Kafka's iconic line, "I am nauseatingly miserable beyond repair." You do. You become nauseatingly miserable beyond repair. Fourth, you lose aura points, but gain self-awareness. Crashing out isn't embarrassing. Let's not romanticize that part. I mean, what else is there, right? There's nothing cool about sending that last message, about rereading it, deleting it, rewriting it, and still feeling misunderstood, right? But something quieter happens after the crash. You start to see your patterns. You learn that yearning without grounding turns into self-erasure. Therapy doesn't kill the romantic in you, it gives you boundaries. You're okay. Settle down, sit with it, crash out again. Does it even matter? Fifth, you realize yearning is not the enemy, uncontained yearning is. The problem was never that you felt too much, right? The problem was that you poured feeling into places without structure, safety, or even consent to begin with. Yearning, as Maha would suggest, is an engine of creation. It fuels art, music, writing, devotion. But an engine without brakes will always lead to a wreck. But hey, you're reborn one way or another, and that's a good thing, right? Sixth, you relearn love as a practice, not as a performance. Being a hopeless romantic in the big year of 2026 means resisting irony. It means choosing sincerity even when it's uncool. But it also means learning discernment, knowing when to offer softness and when to also protect it. Love stops being about grand gestures and starts becoming about mutual presence, about people who don't, make you guess, about connections that don't require you to over-explain your worth. All in all, not second-guessing yourself. So, in short, what does happen, really, right, in the grand scheme of things? Well, you crash out, you spiral, you write essays like this, you make videos like this, but you also survive, right? You recalibrate. You become a romantic who no longer confuses yearning with destiny. You keep the tenderness. You lose the delusion. And in the end, being an overthinking hopeless romantic is not a flaw to be cured, but a force to be handled with care. That's more important. Yearning only becomes destructive when it is left unattended, when it is allowed to convince you that love must always hurt to be real. I am learning, slowly, imperfectly, that it is possible to want deeply without losing myself in the wanting, to love without collapsing, to yearn without crashing out. And maybe that is the real work of growing up. Not killing the romantic, but teaching him where and to whom his longing truly belong. That's how you slowly earn back your aura points. Not by yearning less, but by yearning wiser. So I guess that's it. What are you waiting for then? It's okay to crash out. It's okay to yearn. The important thing is you learn something about it. And even if you don't, so what? In the adage of Filipinos, they would always say, nagmahal ka lang naman eh. Ano pa nga ba?